Well, before Joe Biden became president, things were looking rather good for the United States. In fact, we had no declarations of war. We had no problems with our shipping supply chain. We had no massive increases on our food supply, including basic retail items, and not to mention no monstrous prices at the gas pump. In fact, under Donald Trump, we were drilling for oil and we even became energy independent. Yet, now that Joe Biden, the dictator and our new commander-in-chief, has stepped on the scene, the United States of America has taken a massive tumble. In fact, I believe that what Joe Biden and the Democrats have in store for the United States of America isn't anything good at all. In fact, on the campaign trail, Joe Biden ran on the fact that he would absolutely mess with our oil and gas industry. In fact, it was all part of his plan to increase your prices at the gas pump, which, by the way, just so happened to increase everything else because it takes gas, well, to move services and goods around. But don't worry, he has other people to blame for that. But bottom line here is I've got video evidence proving that this was all Biden's plan from the very get-go. In fact, his true intentions for the American people are a lot more devious than I think many Democrats realize. Here's video footage of Joe Biden admitting on the campaign trail, and shall I say a flashback or re-leaked video footage of Joe Biden on the campaign trail, making it very clear that he intends to stop, well, all drilling and basically do everything in his power to push the green agenda.
Number one, no more subsidies for fossil fuel industry, no more drilling on federal lands, no more drilling, including offshore. No ability for the oil industry to continue to drill, period. Ends.
Ends. It's done. Over. Sayonara. And this is a major bragging point for Biden. See, no more fossil fuel industries. We want to get rid of all of it, which is actually impossible, by the way. I did a whole report on that, by the way, on restrictedrepublic.com. Get there, subscribe, check it out, because there's so much information on there. But I digress. Joe Biden fully intends to end all fossil fuels. No more drilling here in the U.S., no more drilling and offshore, none of it. We're done. Well, what does that mean when you're done drilling? Well, here's an interesting part. Let's just talk basic economics here for the liberals out there listening. When you stop producing goods, and then in this case, you stop producing oil, and you know that kind of affects our entire gas industry, right? When you stop producing things like that, it causes the prices to go up because you're no longer producing or making that item. Very basic stuff. So what Joe Biden has made very clear here is that he fully intends to skyrocket your gas prices, and you just need to suck it up, Buttercup, for the betterment of the Green New Deal movement. In fact, that's exactly what he did the first week that he came into office. The very first week in office, Joe Biden signed an executive order, and in this executive order, it temporarily suspended oil and gas leases on public land and offshore. Here's that little executive order that I'm talking about here, and here you can see, right? This executive order temporarily suspends, and I'm going to go on, any onshore or offshore fossil fuel authorization, including but not limited to a lease, amendment to a lease, affirmative extension of a lease, contract, or other agreement to permit a drill. So within the first week, he immediately signs that order and says, hey, I'm temporarily suspending any new oil and gas leases on public land and offshore waters for drilling and fracking. I guess he meant what he said, and he absolutely did it. First week in office. That wasn't the only thing. Within the beginnings of his administration, here's some other things he did, by the way. Take a look here. Biden calls for higher drilling fees in review of federal oil and gas leaking programs. And guess what? If there are more fees on them, it always gets passed down to the consumer, right? Here's some more stuff that they did, and this is on Weaver.com. Biden administration proposes repeal of tax preferences for oil and gas industry. What did that do? Well, the Biden administration has proposed to repeal a number of tax provisions that encourage direct investment in oil and gas properties as a way to offset the cost of extending and expanding clean energy tax provisions. Again, this obviously gets passed down to you and me. What else did the Biden administration do? Here's just kind of more on that. TheHill.com. Biden budget aims to raise $35 billion from cutting fossil fuel tax benefits. If you're going to cut those benefits, again, this topples down to the American, to the average American person. And what else did he do? Well, he started chopping those pipelines. Let's stop those pipelines. Here's New York Times. The Keystone XL pipeline project has been terminated. Now, that's not the only one Biden attempted or talked about or contemplated shutting down, right? Here's another one that was contemplated. This is FoxNews.com. Biden administration considers shutting down Michigan pipeline, draws criticism and dire warning as winter nears. So obviously they had the full intent of potentially doing this with other pipelines, but thankfully they didn't go all the way with that. Not only that, but the Biden administration also rejoined the climate pact, right? Here's NBCnews.com. Biden rejoins Paris Climate Pact. Environmental advocates hope for the best, but the best is yet to come. Well, we're seeing the repercussions right now of the best yet to come. We're seeing it in our gas prices. We're seeing it in inflation. We're seeing it in the skyrocketing prices of our food. In fact, they continue to climb as a direct result because these prices were all going up prior to the war in Russia. Prior to any of that, it was already skyrocketing. In fact, he knew if he closed these pipelines and did some of the stuff that he did, he knew that that's exactly what would happen. He fully intended to do it, and he did it on purpose. Here we have Fox Business. Gas prices climb amid Biden's pipeline closure. This was in 2021. He closes the pipeline, up goes the prices. Then we also have this. Gas prices have doubled. This is a recent article just this month. They have doubled, and we're talking about $5, $6, $7 plus per gallon all across the country. This is insane. Insanity levels. But don't worry. What Biden admitted to on the campaign trail is the fact that he wanted higher prices. It's a transition to get you, to buy more green kind of things like your electrical vehicle cars that are really, really expensive for the average person. And these electrical vehicle cars, by the way, shall we get into the battery issues on these cars? You know how they're not biodegradable and not really good for the environment, not to mention the amount of carbon dioxide it takes to make these, right? You'd have to drive a regular car at least over 50,000 miles, and then you're finally saving some on this new green agenda. But I digress. You see, there's an agenda. Absolutely an agenda. In fact, Joe Biden admitted he wants to transition you. And this is more of a recent clip.
And when it comes to the gas prices, we're going through an incredible transition that is taking place that, God willing, when it's over, will be stronger and the world will be stronger and less reliant on fossil fuels when this is over.
An incredible, it's almost like he's happy about it, an incredible transition. This is what we wanted, folks. This is what I campaigned on. This is what I told you I would do. Stop drilling, stop fossil fuels, stop offshore, stop it all. Usually when there's a crisis hitting a country, you don't beat them when they're down. Maybe they flex a little bit on their green agenda, but that's absolutely not what happened, right? So he's admitting in that clip, this is his agenda. It's part of what, hey, it's a transition to get you green, right? To save the planet, right? You suck it up, buttercup. But don't worry. He says that with his mouth, and then he goes and blames everybody but himself, right? Which is kind of weird because you admit it, but then you want to blame someone else. FoxNews.com, White House blames Russia It's Russia's fault for high gas prices, coining Putin price hike. Putin price hike. That came out kind of spunky. But he coined the term. It's Putin's price hike over and over again. We heard that from Psaki and his new press secretary, right? But it's not just Russia's fault. Here we have Biden blames Republicans and Russia for soaring inflation. It's that pesky Trump Republicans' fault. But now he's turned it a little bit. Now he's blaming the oil companies. Here's the latest report on foxbusiness.com. Biden points blame for record oil prices. Exxon made more money than God last year. It's Exxon's fault. Anybody but Joe Biden's, even though the video from the campaign trail, flashback, if you will, leaked video, says otherwise, that this was all your intent. In fact, I found a Forbes article back from last year that actually admits this is exactly what Joe Biden wanted. Take a look here. Forbes.com. Biden tax increases show higher energy costs are a goal. It's not a glitch. He did it on purpose. Energy, gas, all of it. Here they go on to expand at the bottom of this article, and here's what it states. It's not an accident that this president's response to a question last week, which was basically last year, about rising gasoline prices, which are up more than $1 per gasoline since Election Day 2020, far higher than that now. But it was to immediately point to his plan to massively tax the industry that manufactures the gas. Those higher taxes will inevitably be passed on to you, the consumer. A reality that Mr. Biden is well aware of. He knew it would be passed on to you. For this president and everybody in his administration, higher energy costs are the goal, not a problem to be addressed. The sooner that we accept this reality, the sooner the energy-related tax policies contained in the president's budget bill begin to make perfect sense. This is what he wanted. And I know most of Americans know that. If you're a Republican, but a lot of the Democrats and liberals out there were begging for things like this. Now you got it. And now they're a little bit concerned and worried about the economy and how they're going to feed their family. Thought this was what you wanted. I hate the fact that they keep trying to blame everybody but themselves, right? If you voted for Joe Biden, this is what you wanted. It's exactly what you got. Anyhow, wanted to bring you the latest on all of that. Please don't forget to check out my partner at getthetea.com/Lisa. You got to add that /Lisa because at that site directly and that site only, you can buy 3 teas and get 1 free. This is a sale that I specifically asked for because I absolutely love this tea. It has really done a number and I cannot say it enough. It's one of my favorite products, but it has really, really sincerely helped me personally. It's helped friends of mine, even my father, with digestive issues. So check it out at getthetea.com/Lisa. And also use the coupon code Lisa and the number 10. If you take one of these and you add it into your cart, you get into the cart, you view your cart, right? All you need to do is also plug in the code Lisa10, right here, and that will get you an additional $10 off, right? As well as free shipping. So you get $10 off there and free shipping for using that code. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.